right, guys. Fula coming to you with another commentary video. Um, video slash commentary. And I think this is going to be my new format from here on out because what I realize is that Islam, is such a, I guess you can say, a plain and simple, uh, straightforward type thing that uses logic, that uses rational approach to certain things, and also uses the conditions of the time for certain matters and certain affairs. Now, I want to say something. Women are women fault dudes, and you can't let them do this. What I'm about to say. Women fault dudes for dating younger or marrying younger women. They do it they do it under the guise of, oh, you can't handle a strong woman. You're a weak man. You can't handle a strong woman. You can't deal with a woman who's built herself up, who's did this, who's did that, and stuff like that. And the reality is, it's not that you can't handle a strong woman. It's just that your patience will be put to the breaking point where you will probably like verbally assault that strong woman, or Allah forbid, something worse. And you don't want to get to that point. And you also don't want, because what a strong woman does who is older or who may be around your age, let's just say you're around 29, let's just say you're around 30, like I'm just throwing out ages. Let's just say you're around 37 or something like that, and she's like 36, 35, right? Keep in mind that she's gonna want to get in a phallus swinging contest with you to see whose phallus is bigger. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate, but that's what they do. Now, if we look at it from the hadith of the Prophet, alayhi salatu salam, and I'm going to read one from Bukhari, and let's see what he said about, let's see what the Prophet, alayhi salatu salam, said about, about women in terms of marrying. Now, okay, let's see. Let's see. I'm looking for it right now. Okay. So, and this was in, I think, this was in Sunnah al-Nasai. I'm not quite sure if it's Sahih or Daif, but it says it's disliked to marry one who is infertile. So it was narrated by a man that came to the it was narrated, a man came to the messenger of Allah, alayhi salatu salam, and he said, I have found a woman who is from a good family and a good status, but she does not bear children. Should I marry her? He told him not to. He came to him a second time, and he told him not to. Then he came to him a third time, and he told him not to. He said, marry the one who is fertile and loving, for I will boast of your great numbers. So, I mean, let's be real with ourselves. Many women, when they hit like 30 and that they become like kind of past the childbearing age, so that's one thing, what I mean? That's the one thing. The second thing is the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu salam, he married Aisha. And there's different reports, on when he married her. But I think the most logical one is that she was around 18 when they when they actually did the marriage. I think she was around 18 when the Prophet alayhi salatu salam married Aisha, right? And he married younger. He married other young people who were younger than him as well. You know what I mean? And so that so when so here's the thing. Here's the thing about this. Here's the thing. If the best man who God created on this earth married younger women, why are you listening to older women tell you and fault you and criticize you for wanting to marry a younger woman? Like, are you afraid of these? Are you afraid of these women? Like, who cares what they think? Like, who you have to ask yourself a question. Who would you rather be? Like, who would you rather please? Would you rather please like these wicked witches of the West, who most of the time, or these modern Muslim women who I hate to say it, but most modern Western women, and most modern Western Muslim women, I hate to generalize, but I'm just going to be honest. Most of them don't even like the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu salam, because I guarantee you, if the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu salam was here today and he tried to lay down the law and lay down the rule with these women, they will not accept it. Okay, they would rather accept little like I'm just gonna name a rapper. They would rather accept the Sharia of NBA YoungBoy, or they would rather accept the Sharia of Cardi B, or the Sharia of like Lizzo, or something like that. I'm dead serious when I say this, okay? But now, here's another hadith, and this one is in Sahih Bukhari. So I'm assuming that Sahih Bukhari, it must mean it's Sahih hadith. So in this hadith it says, while we were returning from Al Gaza with the Prophet alayhi salatu salam, I started driving my camel. It was fast. It was as it was a lazy camel. A rider came behind me and picked my camel with the spear he had with him, and then my camel started running as fast as the best camel you may see. Behold, the rider was the Prophet himself, alayhi salatu salam. He said, "What makes you in such a hurry?" I replied. "I am newly married," he said. "Did you marry a virgin or a matron?" I replied, I replied, a matron. He said, "Why didn't you marry a young girl so that you may play with her and she with you?" When we were about to enter Medina, the Prophet said, "Wait so that you may enter Medina at the night, so that the lady of unkempt hair may comb her hair, and the one whose husband has been absent may shave her pubic hairs." Now, this is just showing you already that, the Prophet alayhi salatu salam himself already made a reference to like getting a younger woman. You saw in the hadith that this was actually recommended more than having a older woman. Okay. Now, here's another hadith, and this was in the book of Bukhari as well. This was in the book of Bukhari as well. And it was narrated by Jabir bin Abdullah. And Nelado alayhi salatu salam said, well, this is coming from Jabir bin Abdullah. He said, when I got married, Nelado alayhi salatu salam said, what type of lady have you married? I replied, I married a matron. He said, why don't you have a liking for the virgins and for the fondling of them? Jabir also said, Allah's messenger said, why didn't you marry a young girl so that you may play with her and she with you? And so this is showing you that he, again, we're talking about marriage. That's the thing. We're not just talking about some kind of perverted behavior and all this kind of all these kind of things that these women will think, and all these kind of things that that unfortunately, because these Western women, and unfortunately Western Muslim women, have been conditioned to think, when it comes to like maybe an older person marrying a younger woman, that this is marriage we're talking about. We're talking about a marriage. We're not talking about just any old kind of union. We're talking about a marriage, man. So another one said, okay, let me see. Okay. Let me see. I'm going to read one more hadith about this. Okay, it looks like that's all the hadiths there are about this issue. But you can see that the Prophet himself, and this is in the book of Bukhari, so this is one of the soundest hadith books. You can see himself that he actually recommended marrying a younger woman. So if the Prophet recommended it, why won't you? Like,
brothers and sisters, we're halfway there. This is your brother Eddie from the Dean Show, and alhamdulillah, we are purchasing a 35,000. There wasn't time to be.
There shouldn't be any rejection on your part, and there shouldn't also be any kind of guilt on your part if you do marry a younger woman. Okay, you should not feel guilty about that. A personal experience I had is in my track and field days. There was a younger woman. She was Brazilian. Yeah, she was actually, her father was Brazilian, and her mom was Black American. And my coach told me she was crazy about me. She's like, bro, my coach was like, yo, she is crazy head over heels for you. He even said, like, when you're not at training, she asks about you and she gets worried about you. She goes crazy for you. And unfortunately, what happened, and I didn't even know about it. I didn't really care about it that much because I was more into trying to learn my skill and trade, which was the high hurdles at the time. But I really didn't care much about it. But I'll tell you who did care much about it. A single mom who got wind that she was like really feeling me, cared about it a lot. And what did she do? She played basically cock police, or as they say, cock blocking. Big time. So even if I decided, okay, well, let me just go ahead and like entertain her, If I decided let me go ahead and entertain her, guess what? It wouldn't have mattered. You know what's crazy? Her dad even invited me to dinner one time. I'm telling you. I'm being so real with you. I'm letting you know. Like this is how it was. Okay? I'm being real. So I'll give you another example. When I was at the airport the other day, because I'm traveling, just to let y'all know, I travel a lot for boxing, okay? I was traveling. There was this one girl. She was she was a Latina. She was with her mom. This girl even tapped her mom and pointed at me. But I caught her pointing. You know, I looked at her pointing, basically. And I'm telling you, don't let these modern Western women fault you for younger women being attracted to you. Because it's usually not even, here's the thing that you need to know. It's usually not even you who is initiating the attraction. It's usually them. They're usually the ones. Okay? Now, let's look at something. And this Muslim sister needs to fear Allah instead of following this feminist crap. She needs to fear Allah.
So lately I've been waking up in the middle of the night and my heart's just racing. And there's no...
Is using. The men who I want are now looking at girls younger than me that I can't compete with because time is out of my control. I can't rewind the clock. How do I fix this? What's the solution? Let's shame them. Habibi.
And that's what they do. Okay? Since they wanted to be boss babes, wanted to be hot girl summer, wanted to ride the rooster carousel, they'll shame you. They'll shame you for basically because they can't compete. And that's just the reality. But let's go.
Before you enjoy this video, do your boy a solid. I've got a goal to hit 7,500 subscribers by the end of June. So like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Now, what does a 28-year-old have in common with a 19-year-old?
Okay, well, number one, a 19-year-old, she is going to be, if she hasn't been influenced by this world and by reality TV and things like that, she's going to be receptive to what the 28-year-old has to offer her in terms of like teaching and stuff like that. And hopefully that 28-year-old is learned in religion so he can teach her that. Okay? Teach her worth as a woman. Her real worth as a woman. Not what feminists say, but her real worth.
What do you guys talk about? And I also wonder how you guys met, because why is a almost 30-year-old man hanging out with teenagers?
It doesn't work like that, sweetheart. Most of the time, the younger, as I said before, and I'll be blue at the face when I say this, Most of the time, a woman, a younger woman, is the one who is choosing out the man. Okay? Usually, I'm going to say something. Usually, and I've noticed this, usually when a woman does not have that much baggage, she's not having a lot of baggage, meaning, she doesn't have Chad, Pookie, Ray Ray, Tyrone syndrome. When she doesn't have that, she is, I guess you can say, more likely to give hints, like give subtle hints to you, but still keep it classy. Whereas a woman who has like Chad, Pookie, Ray Ray, Tyrone syndrome, she's not giving you no hints. She's expecting you to do everything. She's playing the victim role. And because she's playing the victim role, you don't, you know what I mean? You pretty much, it's game over for you, right? Well, let's continue.
It's weird.
Okay, so let's look at this other one. And we can pretty much guess that she's single and she's mad. She doesn't have a wedding ring. Miss Independent. I did it on my own type woman. Let's look at her. And let's dissect her foolishness.
A lot of grown men date young girls to avoid that grown woman pressure.
Nah, not really. The thing is a young girl, as I said, if a young girl has not been affected and has not been like part of the Tyrone, Chad, Pookie, and Ray Ray syndrome, then chances are your chance for peace is going to be better. Your chance for, your chance for like just being relaxed, having a good time is going to be better. You look at her and you see that automatically wearing fake eyebrows, fake hair, no disrespect, but, gravity played its part in her chest, you know what I mean? A man who's established himself, he's under no obligation to want to date her, She had her chance, right? Well, let's continue.
See, every man want to believe that he's an alpha man until it's time to do what alpha men do, like provide, protect, produce. So,
I mean, for the most part, like, a man doesn't even have to say that he's an alpha. That's just part of being a man, just taking care of his bottom line is just part of being a man. It has nothing to do with being an alpha, being, none of that. It's just part of his bottom line,
When that grown woman put pressure on that wannabe alpha man, who's usually a weak man, he runs.
Okay, so when we say, when she says pressure, remember, women will never tell you, you have to understand something. One of the golden rules is women will never tell a man the truth about what she wants in a relationship, and she will never tell a man what's beneficial to what will be beneficial to him in a relationship. Now, what she means by that is the pressure includes a Birkin bag. The pressure includes trips to Dubai. The pressure includes eating out at Ruth Chris every single night. The pressure includes her not having to do a damn thing, but you having to do everything and spend everything.
A weaker woman, the woman that he can control her mind, the woman that self-esteem is low.
to be honest, a woman who is younger, right? She's not going to really have any self-esteem issues like that unless, unless she went through some tragic things like when she was younger. You know what I mean? Like if she went through something tragic, then she may have self-esteem issues, right? But for the most part, she ain't going to really have no self-esteem issues, She's going to be okay. She's going to be okay. She's going to be, the world is new to her still. If she's like, let's say 19, 20, 21, 23, like the world is still new to her, And, if she's maintained her innocence at this time, a man's not going to want to control her. A man's just going to want to maybe cultivate her mind to like get on his program. Be on his program.
Woman, he can manipulate, use, and abuse. Yes, that.
But the thing is about it is that, like, you're only saying that because you've been manipulated, used, and abused by these same guys that you speak of. You have to understand something. When a woman talks like that, she's talking because she's been put through the rooster carousel with these men. That's the reason why she's speaking in such a way like that.
Woman. See, ladies, you could be too much for a man. You could be too independent. You could be too accomplished. You could be too established.
And again, like, a man doesn't care about being too accomplished, too established, and stuff like that. As I said before, like, a man has no choice but to get up and get it, right? A man has no choice but to take care of his bottom line, right? So it doesn't matter, like, when a woman says, I have my own car, I have my own this, I have my own that, I'm a boss babe, this, that, and the other. That doesn't matter to a man because of the simple fact that we've been doing it since the beginning of time. You guys decided you wanted to do it. And unfortunately, you decided you wanted to do it in the form of feminism, or I should say feminazism. And now you're mad and doing videos like this.
You could be too confident that you have to send that man back to the basic women that they're comfortable with.
And hey, if the basic woman is cooperative and she's peaceful and she's submissive, hey, no problem. And if she's cute to match, no problem. No problem with us.
And when you finally let that man go, you will realize that he had absolutely nothing to offer from day one.
And again, just the simple, typical Keisha woman. What's in it for me? That's all they care about. When they get into a relationship with you, their whole bottom line is, what's in it for me? 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 What am I getting out of this deal? They don't care about your happiness, bro. That younger woman, she'll probably care about your happiness.
Only lies and disappointments, which means that you had everything he wanted. He had nothing. Ladies, be smart, date smart, choose wisely, and remember, I told you.
Yeah, it's not really anything coming from someone of good character. She said, I told you. Notice that there was no husband or anything in sight. Now, I want to say something. I want to look at something, okay, that I found very, very, very remarkable to look at. And the only time when you'll marry a woman who is around your age, right, is if basically you guys have she's been with you since day one. You know what I mean? She's been with you for a long time. You know what I mean? Like that's the that's the one you're gonna be with. She practically is your wife. Now, one of my favorite boxers by the name of Dmitry Bivol, and I'm gonna end the video on this note. Now, the thing is about okay. The thing is about Dmitry Bivol is he married his wife at he met his wife at 16 years old, right? Dmitry Bivol then married his wife at 22 years old, okay? But you can tell from the get-go that this woman was just basically meant for him in the way she talked about him. I'm gonna find some of the things that she said because I'm not gonna lie. When Dmitry Bivol beat Canelo, I was one of the happiest persons in the world. I was very happy. I was like, finally, someone just, you know what I mean? It was a good day for me. It was a very good day for me. But you have to understand that there was something, there was another force behind it that helped him beat Canelo. And that was his woman. And the thing is, his woman was just so very, very, the caliber of woman he had is, or he has, I should say, like it's very, very rare. It was very, very rare to see a woman like this actually say what she was saying. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and look at it. I'm trying to find it. I need to try to find it. It's kind of hard sometimes to find, but I'll find it. Let me see. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Sorry it's taking so long, y'all. It's just important that I find this. Okay, so They were asking her questions, and she said, how did you and the champ meet? She said, airport in 2007. We were both 16. Um, uh, you know, her husband doesn't like her to watch the fights, so she said, my husband doesn't want me to attend on his fights. This is the law for me, his will. So she's cooperative, right? Now, unfortunately, she would be called a pick-me. You know what I mean? She would be called a pick-me by these wicked witches of the West. But she's anything but that. You know, she's everything but a pick-me. Now, she asked, do you feel outnumbered? There are 3 boys in the family and you're the only girl. She said, I feel special, and it was my dream to have 2 sons. Now, now on a final note, let's see what she said. Someone asked, who is your favorite boxer aside from your husband? She said, in my life, there's nothing aside another else, the one and only. So you can see how much she loves her husband. You need a woman like that. Now, she's around the same age as her husband, but keep in mind they met each other when they were 16 years old. So you have to have a woman like that. And I'm sorry to say it, but you're not going to find a woman like that from a modern woman who's like been dumped, like who's went through her 304 rooster carousel phase, who's been, you know, who has the who voluntarily decided that she was going to be in toxic relationships and now she wants a good man. You're not going to find what Sayedina Bivol has. You know, you're not going to find that with modern women. If you decide, like, if you're going to mess with a single mom, if you decide that you're going to mess with a woman who has subjected herself to psychological damage or toxic relationships, you're not going to find what he has. And all I can say is, like, me as a man, especially as an African one, I would want what Bivol has more than, like, let's say what what the man that the man or the men who deal with women like Blue Jasmine, the men who deal with women like Brittany Renner, the men who deal with women like Karen Steffens, Older Bilahi Mendalik. I would rather have what Mr. Bivol has than what, you know, those men have. But with that being said, guys, don't let older women fault you in your choice of younger women. Fuller signing out. Leave your thoughts, leave your comments.